First guest tonight called this studio home for 11 years, and it is a real pleasure to welcome him back. Ladies and gentlemen, David Letterman.
Very nice. You know, I was really excited and thrilled and very much looking forward to the occasion until I see a guy pretending to be fat and naked running through the...
We can't get anyone to really do it.
And then I said to myself, well, the executive talent at GE really hasn't changed much at all.
Well, I've been fired now. Thank you very much.
I love what you've done with the place, by the way. Very nice.
Yeah, I chose these colors myself.
It's very strange for me to be here. I was actually here about 6 weeks ago. We were shooting some silly videotape outside of the building, and it was about 9 o'clock in the evening, and people said, well, let's go on upstairs to the 6th floor where you used to work and take a look around. And so we came up in here, and it was just like it was now, except you folks weren't here. Well, most of you weren't here. And then we, looked around, looked at the commissary, looked at the nightly news set, and then we left. And then 2 days later, in the newspaper was an article that we had broken in, pushed our way past the guard, and I had gone up to Bryant Gumbel's office and taken a nap. What more heinous a stunt could a man pull? I don't care who sees me. I'm sleeping on this couch, boys. Cover me. I'm taking a nap.
You like it, though? You really like what we've done here? Does it look good?
Yeah, it does look good. And the thing that I liked about it when I came in here, I was in the studio since 1981. We did a morning show.
You did the morning show here?
Right here,
I didn't
exactly.
know that.
And it was comforting to me to see that you guys have carved out a completely new identity for yourselves. And when I watched the show, it was funny. When I first watched the show, it was a little difficult for me because they say late night, and I'd think, hey, Keen.
I'll be on.
Yeah. And then it would be Conan O'Brien, late night with Conan, and I'd say to myself, and this is how stupid I am, I would say to myself, oh, geez, I wish I had a show. It was very odd. I know that's pathetic, but that's my life. And then as I would watch it, and the truth of it is, when I first started watching a show, it always kind of made me wince a little bit because I thought, well, I don't know, it's not really me, it's not my show. But the more I watched the show, I realized you guys do an incredible amount of comedy and stuff that is produced that is a very high level. And the volume and the quality of the stuff just knocks me out. And I think you've really done a great job to carve out a wonderful identity for yourselves. And that there's nothing like this show anywhere on television. And I really, really appreciate that. I think you did a nice job.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I would say
You realize, of course, that was before I saw the naked guy in the audience.
I know. I'm sorry. I really am. I'd say the biggest drawback we've had so far is that you had a very funny window on your show.
Yeah, we had a great window.
You had a very funny window, and my window, it isn't very funny. Look at this.
Yeah,
just please do me the favor.
I just came from a show like that where there were crickets and wind blowing. on tonight's show, I spent the first, you talk about screwing things up. I'm 46. I've been in television since 1969. You would think that the simple things would be under control. Tonight, for the first 10 minutes of my show, we went down to Times Square with a live camera, and there's a guy in a patrol booth, a little safety booth, the size of a phone booth. And so we were going to talk to this guy, and he comes out of the booth, and he introduces himself to me, and for the first 10 minutes of the show, I called the guy Lou. That's fine. The guy's name is Ray.
Lou is funnier than Ray. I
If he had
defend that
been
choice.
naked, that would have been good.
Come on, show me how it's done.
Anyone?
Right there.
And when we're done here tonight, I'm going to take a nap on your couch, buddy, and nobody can stop me.
I want to ask you something. This is a question that people wouldn't expect, but when I first got this job, I came here to 30 Rock.
How did you get this job, by the way? Was it a theme writing contest? Or
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It was a what would I do with a talk show, and I was fourth. But I went up and we shot a remote in one of your offices. It was actually in your office.
Up on the 14th floor.
Yeah, you had moved out, and I noticed on the windows of your office, thick sheets of plexiglass were covering all the windows.
That's right.
Protective covering, and I thought, what a sick man. Now, what is that? What was that all about?
Well, first of all, let me correct you. It's not plexiglass. It's a product made by GE, and it's half-inch Lexan. It's bulletproof glass. It's what they use around hockey arenas, so guys can't bust through and shatter glass.
Okay.
And it's funny, when that was put up there, the guys who did the work, I know they thought I was nuts. Like, you know, here's a guy, it was snipers. Oh, yeah, snipers are after Letterman. Got to get the bulletproof glass in place. Letterman thinks there's snipers. But we had been in that office for 10 or 11 years, and many of the staff members at the time and people who are still with us would come up there and we would do stuff. We would heave stuff around, and we would take batting practice, we would play soccer, we would play football, we would play baseball. And one day during batting practice, that's why the show used to be as good as it was.
Yeah.
I was, you know, taking full cuts, and I swung around and lost control of the bat, and it shot right through one of the windows. Now, we were on the 14th floor above the intersection of 51st and 6th Avenue.
Yes.
And so the bat just wedges in the glass and is teetering on the ledge. And so I thought, now this is a sign. Maybe you kids better quit screwing around in the office. But I didn't learn anything from that. And a couple of years later, a woman who works with us now by the name of Mary Connolly and I, we would come in and we would play baseball. We would heave the baseball back and forth, just loosen up. And she and I would kind of heat them in there, you know, kind of duck them under your chin and, you know, see who would flinch. And I'm pretty tough when it comes to playing ball with the gals, you know what I mean? Hey, I'll come to your house and take a nap on your couch. That's just the kind of guts I got. So...
Now, when is this? Is this minutes before a show? Shouldn't you really be doing something more productive?
Of course, that can be said of any time of my day. But this was in the afternoon, and it was like in July, early in July, and it was about 2 o'clock. And 6th Avenue was just crowded. It was just a mass of people, you know, going up and down the street and there at the intersection. And she and I are winging balls back and forth, and one gets away from me. And I had wound up pretty good, and it goes into the Venetian blinds of the window, shatters the glass, and drops 14 floors to the sidewalk below. Now, so you think to yourself, well, you know, folks are dead. And it was the single worst moment of my life in this building, but I summoned up the courage, and I got the guts up, and I said to myself, you know, it's situations like this where a person has to be responsible for their own actions. You have to answer for your behavior. You have to know what is the right thing, and you have to do it. And it was then that I sent an intern down to see who was dead.
Very nice. Well, all those years when you were doing the show, here at late night, and then you've since gone on to CBS, did you think that this was all going to get this much attention? Did you think that the whole thing was going to get this kind of... It's just we don't have a lot of time left, and I was just curious, did you think that this was going to happen, that late night would turn into... Because I'm relatively new to it. I had no idea that it was that important to the media or to people in general.
Yeah, I had no idea that it was that important, and NBC had no idea that it was that important.
I'm going to be squeegeeing car windows tomorrow.
But, you know, it's easy to be flip about it, but the truth of it is, I loved being here, and I still have nothing but really strong positive memories, and the people that I dealt with, and the executives, and the programmers, and the folks that we saw on a daily basis, I felt like we had nice, good, strong relationships, and I don't hold any grudges, and I don't regret anything that has happened, but I am surprised that it did get to be as silly as it was, you know. I mean, it just, but I don't know. That's the way things go. Well,
listen, traditionally you're supposed to end on a big laugh. I thought what I'd do is just thank you very much for coming. We are out of time, but this meant a lot to us to have you stop by. It was very nice of you to come by and do that. It goes on for about 9 more minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks very much.
You know, I was thinking about this, Conan, all weekend, and this, by the way, was my worst fear about the show. And it's happened. I just thought, oh, I should have brought the long socks. But you know, see, look at that. How big a dweeb is he? Look at that.
I find it attractive. It's a good look.
But you know, when we did our last show here, and I was kind of wrapping things up, it was really a quiet hope of mine that I would be invited to come back on your show. And I didn't know if you would do it or not. I didn't know what the format would be. I didn't know if you'd have any place for me.
It was all country music for a while, and then we got into this, which seems to work a little better.
I used to be able to go and see Carson on The Tonight Show, you know, 2 or 3 times a year, and I loved it. And I realized that for one reason or another, I probably wasn't going back to The Tonight Show.
Sure, Jay, I'd have you on.
So to be able to come here, and I hope you'll be nice enough to invite me back. It's just been great fun, and I think you guys do a terrific job.
Well, thank you. I know you have to go to the MSG for the ESPYs, which is a tongue twister now. You have to leave.
Oh, it's a big night for me,
Big night for you.
Big night for me and my socks.
But listen, thanks again. Do come back and visit us, and best of luck with your show. It's great. David Letterman. We'll be right back.